98%. Imagine that. And MetaShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number, 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE, 844-45-BIBLE.
Rocket 102.5.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times today, with daytime highs approaching 34. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 25 tonight. Overcast skies. High temperatures reach up to 54 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times Sunday, with daytime highs approaching 57. 49 Monday. Looking further out, 51 Tuesday, 44 Wednesday, and 46 on Thursday. Another look at the short range, a high of 34 today. Lows level off around 25 tonight. We should top out at 54 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Right now, it's 14 degrees.
Visit Boot Barn this week to save on top quality holiday gifts. We're offering holiday specials right now where you can get $50 off select men's exotic boots, 25% off select outerwear, Western shirts, flannels, and jeans. We're also offering savings on select workwear and children's Western wear. Visit us this week and save on top quality holiday gifts. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
Good morning, beat freaks. Who's ready to move? Let's start this day right.
Tasha's morning dance parties are meeting rave reviews.
Lose your phones and find your groove.
They need an ops manager to help their community dance the morning away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Goodland's Rocket 102.5 is your home for Goodland High School athletics. From touchdowns and three-pointers to home runs, Ross Volkmer has you covered with all the action. Join him for live broadcast on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, your front row seat to the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Select games video streamed on the Goodland Voice. GHS athletics this season are made possible in part by
Outdoor Bank, Moss Barger Family Farms, FNB Bank, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Chris Yost, and Ranchland.com and broker Craig Townsend.
Carbon monoxide, or CO, is a silent killer. CO is a deadly gas with no scent, color, or taste, and common CO sources are poorly vetted gas furnaces, propane space heaters, gas grills, and portable generators, and exhaust from automobiles. It's important to make sure you have a working CO detector in your home. Change your CO detector's batteries each year and check your detector's expiration date and replace as needed. A safety message from Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
The year-end clearance is on at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Save big on remaining hail vehicles like a 2024 GMC 2500 with some hail repaired. You can still take an additional $8,000 off. Or drive away in a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 and save up to $8,500 off, including rebates on lightly hailed units. Plus, enjoy 0% financing for up to 36 months on select new GMC and Chevrolet vehicles. These deals won't last long. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com and wrap up the year with incredible savings.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
This holiday season, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Eco snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
On Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Showtime for the Lady Eagles.
To the pros.
McKinnon is in at running back. First down and goal to go. Play action fake. Right side throw. Touchdown! Kansas City!
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Back over to the far side. Hope Bierman with a couple of ball fakes now. Now going to lob it down low to Marie Martin, who works the backside, puts it up. She's fouled by Klein, and it will be an and one situation for Marie Martin.
Pulls it into Heisey. Now Lipsy, left wing 3 ball for Taman. Yes, sir, right there. And we're tied at 72.
Left side to Wyatt Font. Had the ball above his head, knocked out there by Mole. Font's going to get it back, though. Then lost it as Mole came from behind and poked it out again. Thorson ahead to Brumbaugh. Brady lays it in on the left side with the right hand, using his body to shield the defender.
Purdy gets the snap. Back to pass. Rush coming. Purdy steps up. Grabbed around the ankles. Purdy is sacked, and the game is over. The Rams have won the game. A sack of Brock Purdy ends it.
Happy Friday morning, everybody. We're back on the Morning Blitz on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, NWKSradio.net, and our live video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Good morning, everybody out there. Welcome inside a Friday edition of the Morning Blitz. It's a cold start to the day, Max. 15 degrees, actually. I'm giving it too much. A little cold start to the day. 15 degrees outside. Only going to be a high of 36. The walk to the Max today and the walk home after the games tonight will be a chilly one for yours truly. It was cold last night. It's going to be even colder here tonight. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Mike working today?
It is.
You heard me?
I hear you.
Good?
You sound good. Yeah.
Well, then we're doing fantastic. Great night of hoops last night. Went home and crashed immediately. I was tired after those 2 games. But yeah, it was awesome. I'm just blown away by how now I didn't realize how nice the Max Jones Fieldhouse was, but that I really didn't. I hadn't been inside yet, but that was fantastic.
That was the mini Max. Was it packed for your 2 games? Was it like I kind of described it?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the main gym too. Just I walked.
Oh, I know.
It.
Trust me, that's something we all know. Being in good. I mean, look, this is I've lived in Western Kansas now, so I've done games in the Max Jones, not consistently, but for the last 8 years I've done it consistently. But probably for the last 11 to 12 years, I've gone to this arena. I mean, there's a reason I call it the pride of Goodland, Kansas. I mean, it's a landmark, I think, in Goodland. It's one of the nicest facilities, not only in Northwest Kansas, maybe in the entire state when it comes to high school gyms. It's a pretty neat place. And great crowds last night for the 36th annual Topside Tip-Off Tournament, which saw Colby and Goodland boys and girls all advance. We'll get to some thoughts on that coming up in today's show. But it was I'm not surprised by your reaction. I guess I'll just put it that way. Most people think the same exact way.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love the setup of the main gym. Excited to call there today. And yeah, I didn't know I didn't know it was how big it was or the landmark or anything that you just said. So I just kind of went into it not knowing what I was getting into. But when I walked in, I was like, oh, this is fat. This is awesome. This is sick. So I love it. I'm excited to get back there today.
Yeah, it's a great high school gymnasium. There's no doubt about it. It's very, very cool. But we're going to talk plenty of Topside Tip-Off here for you in our first segment coming up in just a little bit here on today's program. We'll get into some more high school hoops scheduled for today and wrestling. We're into it now. We're fully into it now. We're up to our eyeballs in basketball and winter sports with wrestling as well. So much going on yesterday and even more happening today. One of the busier days of the winter sports season happens here on this Friday and rolling on into Saturday. So we'll get you updated on what's all going on. We will talk a little bit about bowl games coming up in our second segment. What bowl games are you most excited about? If you want to chime on the FB Bank text line during the segment, you can, 785-899-2222. And we're talking about bowl games that are not associated with the playoff. So true bowl games, because after the first round of play-in games or the playoffs, the first round playoffs, then they've got the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and, whatever else they might have. But I'm talking about true official bowl games that actually are bowl games and not have to be associated with playoffs. We're talking that in segment number 2. And then we'll look ahead to the weekend slate. You got KU basketball on tap for Saturday, needing a much-needed win. We've got the Chiefs at the road and the Browns, Broncos hosting the Colts, some other area college basketball this weekend as well. So we'll get to all that coming up here with the weekend slate in segment number 3. So full show ahead here today. Once again, the FB Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. If you'd like to chime in on the program, get your thoughts and comments, and we'd love to hear from you throughout the show here today. Let's get into the 36th annual Topside Tip-Off. We'll just start with you, Max. What did you think of Colby's performances? For those who didn't know, Colby girls won handily over Lakin, 60-19. Colby boys also with an easy win over Burlington, 63-28 yesterday in the first round. What were your thoughts?
I mean, it couldn't have gone much better. I think both these cases, especially when you're talking about the boys, and this is something I talked about throughout the night. They just had the advantage at every position as far as physicality, athleticism, and strength and speed. So, I mean, it was just Burlington really wasn't able to get any rebounds. Colby out-rebounded them offensively, defensively. They were pushing the pace, really just playing to their strengths, which is being stronger, more athletic, and faster. And that really led to it getting out of hand really early in that game. I believe it started off like an 8-0 run, and then really they never looked back after that. I think the shot making is still there. Jordan Jones has been fantastic from beyond the arc. Just with his ability to rise on his jumper, it's hard for anyone to defend it. And he's got a very confident shot, so that was something I've been really impressed with the first 2 games is his shot making. And really, honestly, Braden Foss wasn't hitting threes. The 3-point shot wasn't really, to be honest, at its full capacity last night for the boys team. It was everything inside the paint. Guy Tubbs played a fantastic game. Scoring wise, he scored a lot more than he did in game 1. So that's really what I noticed from the boys game. And then the girls game was just kind of more of the same from the first week, just forcing turnovers, a great press defense. They made shots. Their 3-pointers were falling, whether it was I think Logan Nolan had the best game out of everyone. Elizabeth Barton played well, but didn't score as much as she did when she dropped 21 against Ulysses. But all in all, I mean, really, you couldn't ask for much more from either of those teams. I know Coach Walker after said that they turned the ball over too much in the first half and played better in the second half. But really, for this early in the season, both these teams are playing fantastic.
Yeah, I would say so. The score that really got me was the girls' score, 60-19. That's a Lakin team that's got a really good coach. And Jason Holloway, he played basketball at Iowa State in his time growing up. But he's a really good coach and knows what he's doing. I know Lakin, I think, I'm trying to bring back, I think they had a pretty older team last year. So I think they're kind of young this season. But that's a good program. And to beat them 60-19 is a very easy win for Colby girls, which, once again, they should be a machine all season long. They should be like this. They've got so much experience and so much talent and so much skill. They should be beating teams like this most of the season. So that shot, I mean, like I said, to me, it was just maybe a little bit of the margin. Just 60-19 is a wide margin to beat an opponent by. And so that was impressive. And the Colby boys, I'm not surprised. I think Burlington graduated their best player from a season ago in Keziah Williams. So they're kind of starting over as well. But yeah, I know, great start for Colby. And really, that's the first round as a whole. They were kind of lopsided scores. In fact, there was really only, I think, one good game in the first round. It was Norton girls beating McCook 46-40. It was the only game that was decided by less than 10 points. Every other game in the first round was a pretty easy win. You had Burlington beating Ulysses on the girls' side, 61-43. Goodland beat Ray 57-19. On boys' side, you had Goodland beating Ray 57-30. Norton beat McCook 69-56. That talked about Colby rolling past Burlington 63-28, and Lakin won over Ulysses 76-56. to 53 on the boys' side. So like I said, a lot of lopsided games. And honestly, all the outcomes I think kind of went as I thought it might. The first day, I think it kind of was pretty much chalk as I would have seen it going into the tournament. Speaking of Goodland, the Cowboys and Cowgirls looked very good. Cowgirls looked good again against Ray. I mean, Ray graduated so many players from a season ago. They lost their top 4 scorers and their top 4 rebounders. And when you're playing a program like Goodland, who did graduate a lot of their talent as well, not their talent, a lot of their top players as well from a season ago. But man, it's just, once again, it's that culture. It's that, it's just that benchmark that Bill Behrman and the coaches have set in that program that continues to propel, I feel like, this Cowgirl team. They played really good defense. I mean, they were fantastic. They got down 2-0, Max, and then went on a 22-0 run to put themselves up 22-2 in that first quarter, and would be up 22-4 going in. And then they had another great run at the end of the first and beginning of the third quarter to pretty much put that game away. Marie Martin had a career night. She had career high 19 points last night in the win for the Cowgirls. She was really good. 4 girls were in double figures. Libby Cure had 10. Allie Cure had 11. Marie Martin with a career high 19. And Jacelyn Gable, who really hasn't played much varsity basketball at all until this season, had a career high 11. So when you're hot, you're hot. And the Cowgirls had 4 girls in double figures leading the way for GHS. Like I said, they forced what was 29 turnovers out of Ray unofficially last night. So their defense leads to great offense. And as Bill Behrman has said to me many times before, if we're going to be the team that we want to be this year, we're going to have to play outstanding defense. And through 2 games this year, they have done that. Now, the competition will only get better at Norton tonight, which is a good program. And then we'll see what happens. But I would expect, and this is no offense to Burlington, I would expect to see Colby in the championship game. I mean, that Colby team, though they're not ranked, to me, they're a top 10 team in 3A. And they're well coached, and they're a really, really good program. So the competition is only going to get stiffer from here on out, especially in this tournament. But another back-to-back games of just great defensive intensity and effort, and that resulted in great offense for the Cowgirls. On the boys' side, it was the same exact story as it was just on Friday. Cowboys get out to a big lead. In fact, they're up 33-11 at halftime. And then they go on what is an 11-2 run to open up the third quarter, and they sit at 44-13. They lead. And that was once again where the Cowboys like, we're up 30 points. The clock's going to run in the second half, or in the fourth quarter. We can coast. And it's a hard mentality to get over, because you get to that point. From that point forward, really you had Ray, I think, beat Goodland. What was from that point forward, Ray outscored Goodland, what was 17-13 from that point forward. So the Cowboys took their foot off the gas. They got in some younger guys trying to get them some experience, and, some turnovers happened. They were a little bit hasty on the offensive end. And so it did not look good. The final quarter and a half was not pretty. And you could definitely tell just by the way Coach Dahl was reacting to it, the way the fans were kind of, a little bit apprehensive about the performance in that late third, early fourth quarter. But the Cowboys had it in hand pretty much from the jump. And like I said, I'm just so intrigued to see here over the next couple games, Max, when they get into contests where they got to play the full 4 quarters. I know they can do it. They've done it before, but they haven't had to do it yet this season in the brief 2 games they've played, because they've just completely cleaned the clock of everybody else.
That's the same thing with Colby. I mean, you've seen it was even more so yesterday than against Ulysses, where, I want to say the platoon swap with about
the old good old hockey line change.
Yeah, with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter for really both teams. But it does make sense, and obviously it makes sense. You want to get your young guys in, but also in a tournament, you want to really rest as much as possible, because you got to play less than 24 hours right back at Max Jones Fieldhouse. So it was good to get the starters some rest, because especially for the guys team, because that Coach Stevens runs a 6-man rotation. The only person that he really the only person he subs in is Kirsten Brock, and he only subs in for Kason Carroll and Grant Stevens. So it's a 3-man switch. Everyone else is Tubbs, Foss, and Jones are on the court for the entire game if they have to be. And then, you'll see those 3 switch on and off. But it's good for them to get a rest, especially because, 6-man rotation, 4 quarters to play. gets tiring. But that is going to be interesting, like you said, Ross, because they have both teams haven't really had to play a full 4 quarters of basketball yet. The starters, I should say. So when they get into some good competition where they have to, it's going to be interesting to see how they can handle that. But most of the basketball team played football for the whole fall, so they should still be in pretty good shape. So I'm not too worried.
My coach would say that's football shape, not basketball shape.
That's true.
There's a difference.
That is very true.
In basketball, you could play straight for 3 minutes without a break, where football, you're going to play for 6 seconds to get a minute break, 6 seconds, get a minute break. So
it's better than baseball shape.
That's true. It's definitely better than baseball shape. We know that for a fact. But no, last night also, Goodland had 3 guys in double figures. Leading the way was Brady Brumbaugh with 17 points. Lincoln Cure had a dozen. Braylon Mole had 11. But to me, the big stat of the night was rebounding. The Cowboys unofficially out-rebounded Ray 39-17. Brady Brumbaugh had 12 rebounds for his first career double-double for the 3A All-Stater. 17 points, 12 boards. When you're 6'6" and you're that long, you need to be grabbing close to 8 to 10 rebounds a game with his size and the amount of basketball knowledge that he has. I know Brady was frustrated offensively. That was the funny thing. I think he thought he had an off night offensively because he only scored 17 points. And I was joking with Raleigh Halligan. I said, if I scored 17 points when I was playing ball, I would have been ecstatic if someone would have said to me, well, that was an off night at 17. I'd have been ecstatic. But he's Brady. I like one thing about Brady is he went 1 from, I think, 7 from 3. I would love to see him. I'm 6'6". I'm going to the bucket. You're not going to stop me. I'm going to make layups or I'm going to get fouled. And I'm going to then go to the free throw line and get that confidence up. And so work my way out. Brady sometimes loves to starts at threes to work his way in. It'd be better if you start in and work your way out some nights to help get that confidence going for Brady Brumbaugh. But nonetheless, an easy win for the Goodland Cowboys. They win 57-30. Over Ray. So that sets up today's matchups. First and foremost, on the girls' side, you've got Goodland versus Norton and Burlington versus Colby in the championship semifinals. Ray McCook in one consolation semi and Ulysses Lakin in the other. And then on the boys' side, the championship bracket, you've got Goodland Norton again, Colby Lakin boys, which that'll be a fascinating game.
Yeah.
Consolation will have Ray McCook and Burlington Ulysses. I know you still got to get ready for these games, but maybe you had a chance to watch them. What are you excited about today?
Well, I don't know much about either of the teams, to be honest, yet. I will say the Lakin team, they watched the Lakin girls game after, so I got to see them, and just from the size and just looking at them, I'm like, okay, well, this should be a good competition for the boys team because they've had the size advantage for every single game. I'm not saying they don't have the size advantage again, but it's a lot. It looks a lot more level than Ulysses as well as Burlington. So that's about all I got for right now.
Lakin will be a very tough test. They're well coached. Nate Schmidt's a fantastic coach. They've got all kinds of size and length and athleticism. They love to play at a helter-skelter pace. They love to press. They're going to test that 6-man depth because they're going to push the pace. They're going to make Colby run. And they're going to try and force turnovers. They're going to shoot a ton of threes. They believe in 3-pointers and layups. That's what they believe in. Kind of an NBA model a little bit. 3-pointers, layups, and crash the glass and get putbacks. That's how Lakin plays. Relentless effort is what Lakin usually plays with a lot of the time. So that'll be a heck of a game between Colby and Lakin. I'll be very intrigued to see how that game stacks up. And then girls wise, Burlington's very well coached. But I think once again, Colby's going to be a wagon this year. I just think they're going to be that on the girls' side. And I think it'll be, like I said, there's a few teams that's going to be able to hang with them, and there's going to be a lot of teams that aren't. And I don't know about Burlington enough this year.
I think the other thing I noticed that I didn't mention about the girls' team is they don't take bad shots. It's a very unselfish team.
Yeah, Yancey's got them programmed in the right spot.
Absolutely. They are all in it together, and no one takes bad shots. There's some fantastic shooters on the team, but they don't force shots. Barton doesn't force any shots. Nolan doesn't force any shots. Flanagan doesn't force any shots. They wait until they find someone open. And that's really been the key to their success is great ball movement and great defense. And it's been really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, should be some interesting games today. Like I said, Goodland gets Norton in both contests. And I think Goodland boys and Norton's got some great athletes led by Eli Jones, who's one of my favorites. He's a fantastic quarterback for their football team. He's a really good basketball player as well. He's got a really sweet jumper. So I like watching him play. But once again, I think Goodland's depth is going to be a big issue for Norton. More than likely, just the constant wave of players that can put the ball on the floor and score it will be big. And then the girls' side, once again, it comes down to Goodland's defensive intensity. How can Norton handle it? That's the biggest thing. Can the opposing team handle the defensive pressure that Goodland puts on them? That's the biggest thing. I don't know if Norton can or not. We'll find out more here tonight.
Norton's boys team beat McCook, right?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They beat.
I watched
46-4. No, sorry, that was the girls' side. That was a 69-56.
Yeah, I watched that game because it was right before. I would say Goodland's got a good chance again, just from watching that game.
Norton's they got a lot of great athletes. They're a great football program. They're really, really good in football, and that usually translates to the basketball floor. They graduated some really good guys from a season ago, guys like Roman Hauser, but they got a couple guys back that are good basketball players. But once again, I think it's the depth of Goodland that will be a little bit too much for Norton to handle. We'll see. So there you go. There's a quick look at the topside tip-off and what to expect here in day number 2. And of course, championship games and final games will be played on Saturday all throughout the day. Also today, plenty of other great sporting events happening, plenty more high school hoops. You got the second round of the Brewster Sagebrush Shootout. You'll have on the girls bracket Wallace County St. Francis and Shiloh Golden Plains in the championship semifinals. Consolation semifinals, Weskin CFE and Western Plains Tri-Plains Brewster. On the boys bracket, it's Shiloh Wallace County and Weskin St. Francis in the championship bracket. And then Golden Plains, CFE, Western Plains, Healy, Tri-Plains Brewster in the consolation bracket. I expect to see Weskin and Wallace County more than likely playing in the boys championship game for just giving my 2 cents. And probably going to see that Shiloh Golden Plains game. I don't know. Did they already play once? Oh, they might have played early, but I don't know. Shiloh's got one of the best players in the state, and Taylor McCarty, and so she's really good. But man, that St. Francis Wallace County game could be a good game as well. So there's some good semifinal games in the championship side of the girls bracket. But I expect to probably see Weskin and Wallace County facing off on the boys side of the Brewster Sagebrush today. And then Purple and Gold tournament continues today. You've got Hoxie boys playing at 4:30 Central Time. They'll take on Victoria in the consolation semifinals after they lost in the first round on Tuesday. Hoxie girls, they face Wichita County at 6 o'clock Central Time. And they will, and so like I said, and that's in the championship side of the bracket. I was going to pull up this bracket real quickly here and see if I can see who the Hoxie girls could face on the other side. If they win, Hoxie will play Hodgman County. Will the Hoxie girls? If they lose, they will play Osborne. So it's either Hodgman County for the championship or it's Osborne for the third place game coming up on Saturday. The Purple and Gold tournament's kind of unique because they play half the bracket on Monday, Thursday, and then the final on Saturday. Other ones play Tuesday, Friday, and then on Saturday. So a little bit of a disadvantage for that team that plays on Friday because they don't really get any practice time to get ready for the championship game.
It's true.
So a little bit of disadvantage there. If Hoxie boys win, they'll play Ness City in the consolation title. If they lose, they'll play Northern Valley. There's an update from the Purple and Gold over in Waukene. And then before we get to break, I want to quickly highlight some wrestling. It's a great weekend of wrestling. Yesterday, got going with the Colby Girls Eagle Invitational, and 9 girls placed for Colby, and that was enough to lead them to a victory. Lady Eagles scored 148 total points as a team. That was 27.5 points better than second place Southwest, so they are the Colby Eagles protect their home mat and win the Eagle Invitational on the girls' side. Today is day 1 of 2 great days of Colby's Eagle Invitational happening all across the city there. They've got so many great teams that come in from all over, whether it's Oklahoma, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas. Some of the best teams in the area come and wrestle at the Colby Eagle Invitational in a couple of days, and it's dual style, which I think is so fun and so cool. Instead of individual, it's a team deal. So the Eagle Invitational gets going today. Goodland, Oakley are a few of the other regional teams that'll be competing at Colby's Eagle Invitational, but it's a great tournament. A lot of girls teams, including Goodland, St. Francis, Rollins County, and Oakley girls teams are going to Great Bend for their tournament starting today and going into tomorrow. Decatur Community and St. Francis are heading to Ellis for a wrestling tournament today. That's a boys tournament. Rollins County boys are heading to Southern Valley, I think Nebraska, for some wrestling today. And then on Saturday, a big tournament over in Clay Center. That is where Hoxie boys and girls will be wrestling on Saturday at the Clay Center tournament. So Hoxie likes to get out and go around the state and wrestle some of the other programs they don't see very often. And when you're one of the best programs in the state, they'll welcome you with open arms. Yes, please come. Please come. We'd love to have you wrestle because you're really good. So there you go. There's a look at the weekend slate ahead in local sports. It's, like I said, one of the busiest days of the year when it comes to local sports, when you factor in wrestling and tournaments and people all over the place. So good luck to all the area athletes. Drive safe, and we'll try and recap it all for you on Monday when it all comes together and wraps up. All right, we're right at the bottom of the hour, around 7:31 Mountain Time, 8:31 Central Time. As always, the FB Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. Get your thoughts and comments in. We'd love to hear from you next segment, as we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit of college football bowl games. And we're talking, what bowl games are you most intrigued about, and ones that are not associated with the playoffs. So true bowl games, one where it's done and it's over. So we're talking true bowl games as the bowl season gets going here on Saturday. So what games are you most excited about? We'll talk about that next here on a Friday edition of the Morning Blitz.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, December 13th. And on the overnight last night, March corn lower a cent at 442.5, May down a cent at 450, July down a cent at 4, September down 3/4 at 436.25. January soybeans down 5 cents at 9.90 3/4, March down 6 at 9.97 1/4, May down 5 3/4 at 10.07 3/4, July down 5 3/4 at 10.18. Chicago wheat, the March contract lower 3/4 cents at 5.57 3/4, May down a cent at 5.67 1/4, July down 1.5 at 5.73 1/2, September down 2 cents at 5.85 1/2. Kansas City wheat, the March contract lower 1/4 cent at 5.62 1/2, May down 1/4 at 5.70, July down 1/2 at 5.77 1/2, September hard wheat down 1/2 cent at 5.89 1/2. The stock market this morning, the Dow up $45 at 44,480, the S&P up 21 at 6,081, the Nasdaq up 173 at 22,091, gold lower $28 an ounce at 2,680, and crude oil up 36 cents a barrel at 70.38. If you have any questions about marketing earnings or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. Or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Sputo, Jared Law, or Tyler Dosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
LivestockMarket.com puts you in control when buying or selling commercial livestock, seed stock, or show stock. The easy-to-use online platform at LivestockMarket.com offers private treaty, online auction, and live auction internet bidding. Animals are sold before they ever leave your place. And with LivestockMarket.com, there's no middleman. Buyers connect directly with livestock and hay producers. There's no easier way to find buyers for cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, and hay. Sell on your terms today with LivestockMarket.com.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Available at Nextech Wireless in 4 bold colors: black, pink, teal, and ultramarine. Which iPhone 16 color will you choose? Built for Apple Intelligence with the all-new A18 chip, a new featured camera control, and a big boost in battery life. Get the new iPhone 16 on us. Next Tech Wireless, home on the range.
The 15th Judicial District of Kansas is hiring. Full-time trial court clerk 2 positions are open in Cheyenne and and a commitment to justice make a significant impact. Join a team that's making a difference every day. Apply now at kansascourts.gov or text COURT to 785-460-0790. The Kansas Judicial Branch is an equal opportunity employer.
The region's only local sports talk.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
The Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Did you happen to see on social media? I don't know. Do you follow sports in Kansas at all there, Matt?
I do.
Did you happen to see the picture last night from the Topside Tip-Off tournament? It's getting a lot of love. There's a fifth grader here in town, Casey Gillespie. He took a photo of a play where Zach Thorson had a steal, but took the ball down the floor. He threw it off the back of the backboard, and Lincoln Cure came back and was going to dunk it down. It's a great picture, kind of shooting up from the bottom. You'll have to find on.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a great picture. The funny thing that makes me laugh about it the most is that was actually a dunk that went off the front of the rim. It was not a completed alley-oop.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell there's no way he's making it there from that picture. That's a great picture, though.
Really great picture, though. Shout out to Casey Gillespie, that great photo. But I laugh because everyone's talking about, boy, what a great photo, and it is. But if you only knew that it didn't result in any points, it was a great alley-oop feed from Zach, but Lincoln just couldn't quite get her corralled into the hoop.
Yeah,
otherwise it would have been sweet.
You can kind of tell it's like if you look at it, you can tell he's not making. You can tell he's not making it there.
Yeah. So anyway, neat photo though yesterday from the Topside Tip-Off tournament. More action will be happening today and rolling into tomorrow. Thanks to everybody listening on Facebook. Brian and Papa Gershon, appreciate you guys listening. Papa Dave, I did not watch any of the Rams 49ers game last night. I have no clue what happened in that contest. I was busy with basketball, but it didn't look like it was very exciting. It looked like it was a field goal fest.
No, quick funny story. We've had some issue with the connection for my headphones during commercial breaks on 100.3 The Ride and what I'm hearing. So I will hear the commercial breaks, but I also hear a radio station in Topeka for some odd reason. So I actually was hearing not only the commercial breaks, but I was here. I promise you.
Last night's games?
Last game and Friday. So I could also hear the Thursday night football game during commercial breaks in my headphones. So odd, but I would hear Purdy sacked, or I'd hear some random play from the game in the middle of my commercial. Weird. No one else can hear it, just me. So that's kind of funny.
How is that happening?
No idea. We're trying to figure it. I think we know how it's happening now. It's boring. I'm not going to explain it on air, but it's crazy. But regardless, did you see that the Devondre Campbell just walked out of the game last night? I didn't watch it.
I did not see it, but I read that he just walked off the field, was told to go in the game, said, no, I'm not going in there, and walked off the field. He won't have a job for very much longer. He'll be done.
Nope.
So
anyway,
tell you what, it's amazing how some of these great franchises that have had success for the last handful of years, the 49ers, I mean, I know the Eagles are still having success, but these teams that were really, really good, how much trouble they're having with guys just not getting along and having issues with coaches.
It's
amazing. There's a shelf life for everything, apparently.
Yep.
Just a shelf life for everything.
Yep.
All right, let's get into our second topic of the day, as it is bowl season. It actually gets going on Saturday, as we will have some bowls that most people probably won't tune in to watch. Some interesting bowls. You got like the Celebration Bowl and some other interesting ones where you'll have Jackson State and South Carolina State and South Alabama versus Western Michigan. So you'll have a couple of bowl games that many people won't tune in to watch. And who would when you can watch Army-Navy? We'll have more on that in the walk-off, which is coming up here on Saturday, one of the great spectacles in sports. But bowl games get going here on Saturday. They'll really pick up next week with a good slate of games. And I want to get your thoughts, Max, and also people who are listening on the radio, on the web, or on the video stream, or on the stream, what may be. Just give me your thoughts. FB Bank text line 785-899-2222. What bowl games are you excited about? Not games that are doing with the playoff. So no games that have to deal with the playoff, just games that are bowl games. Which one are you actually intrigued to watch? Bowl season has taken a massive hit over the last few years because of the playoff, because of all that, bowl games have meant less and less. And guess what? Because you've expanded the playoff, bowl games even mean a little bit more than less. And you throw in the transfer portal where every single team has got guys leaving and coming and coaches leaving and coming. Bowl season has become a really hard thing to kind of get excited about anymore. So I'm intrigued. What bowl games are you intrigued about, Max, here in this upcoming bowl slate?
Yeah, well, I've got three that really,
3 games. All right.
3 that really stuck out to me when looking at the schedule. The first one is Georgia Tech versus Vandy. Georgia Tech had a great season, starting off with the win in Ireland. And then after that unbelievable overtime. I know they lost, but an unbelievable
overtime game against
Georgia.
8, I think. 8,
yeah.
Something like that. Nuts.
Yeah.
7,
So, I mean, they've been a fun team to watch. And I've loved watching Haynes King play their quarterback. And then Vandy is the same story, upsetting Alabama, which is one of the biggest upsets I didn't think that was ever even a thought. I never even had a thought that Vandy would ever beat Alabama. They beat Alabama this year. Diego Pavia has been fun to watch. So those two quarterbacks have really kind of come out of nowhere and really been a fun story to follow this entire year. And they get to go up against each other in a bowl game. Of course, I didn't write down what bowl game that is.
It is the Birmingham Bowl.
The Birmingham Bowl.
It will be played on Friday, December 27th. You can catch it. It'll be a 2:30 Central, 1:30 Mountain Time kick on ESPN. Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt in the Birmingham Bowl. And I couldn't agree with you more. This is a great game.
Yeah.
What's the number one thing you should look for in today's bowl games is you should look for what teams want to be there and who's going to play. And these two teams have had tough success over the last few years. They have not had a lot of it. So for these two teams, even though they might have records that are close to 500 or a little bit above, the seasons that they've had, the momentum that they've gained throughout the regular season, even though they might have close to 500 records a little bit better, these two teams are invested in this bowl game, and I agree with you. I think it'll be a great game between Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, 100%. So my second game that I wrote down here, Miami versus Iowa State. These are two teams that just missed. And that is, what you just said kind of made me think again because, I'm not sure exactly who they're going to be missing because, they didn't make the playoffs. They were close. Miami 13, Iowa State 18. But it's the Pop-Tart Bowl, Ross.
Yeah.
It's the Pop-Tart Bowl in the great city that I have right here in Orlando, Florida.
Orlando.
In the Pop-Tart Bowl at Camping World. So it's Camping World's a great stadium. It's a good vibe around there. But Miami, Cam Ward, last game at Miami, Iowa State fell short. Rocco Becht. It's going to be an interesting clash of of Miami style of football versus the Big 12 Iowa State way. So I would guess it's going to be high scoring if that was my guess. So I'm going to put it up there. Miami, Iowa State, Pop-Tart Bowl, Camping World, Orlando.
Yeah, that should be another good game. You're exactly right. That was one I would have had circled as well. I don't know. The only thing that holds me back is I don't know how invested Miami will be. That's
right.
The only thing that has in it. If you're Iowa State, you're like, you know what? We got a sour taste in our mouth, and we got to get that out of it. We just got our butts handed to us by Arizona State in a game that could have put us in the playoff. We got to get that sour taste out of our mouth. For Miami, you were left just outside looking in. You were the first place loser.
Yeah.
When it came to the playoff for the most part, and so that's a tough pill to swallow. And so I don't know how invested Miami will be, but I do like that picture of Miami and Iowa State getting together. That'll be a Saturday, December 28th in the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando, like Max said. That is a 2:30 Central, 1:30 Mountain Time kickoff, and hopefully the winner will eat the Pop-Tart.
Exactly. Well, that's what they're fighting for, Ross. They're fighting for the big old Pop-Tart they can eat.
They put the Pop-Tart mascot in the toaster, and he comes out the bottom edible. Delicious.
Who comes up with that stuff,
Someone genius, though, because Pop-Tarts are delicious. In fact, I know they're making now banana bread Pop-Tarts, and I'm a huge fan.
Interesting. But what is your favorite Pop-Tart?
Oh,
I'm a big cherry Pop-Tart guy.
Okay, so the Volkmer household, grape was always the big one, but it's hard to find. Grape is kind of one of those deals that kind of comes around. It's like once in a blue moon. So if you find grape, it's really good. If it's not grape, it's brown sugar cinnamon.
That's a good
one. I love brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts. Really good. And then just recently I had banana bread, and I'm a big banana guy. I love banana cake, banana breads. I love that kind of stuff. And and it was really good too. So those probably
I'll
my
have to
top
check
3.
that out. I'll have to check that out.
I love.
All right. Well, my last
bowl game. What bowl games are you interested in? Keep them coming.
My last bowl game that I have on my list is number 19 Missouri versus Iowa. This is another clash of like very unique play styles. Missouri high offense, Iowa good defense. So if Iowa can somehow get Missouri's offense to kind of play that kind of field position punting football, Iowa's got a good chance. But Missouri, being ranked 19, it's not a failure of a season for Missouri, but I know a lot of Missouri fans had very, very college football level high hopes for this team this season. I don't think that they necessarily met those hopes, but that being said, I don't think that they completely, took a step back this year from where they were. And this is a good football team. Luther Burden, I think, is going to be just a fantastic wide receiver in the NFL.
He's not going to play in the pros, is he? Or sorry, in the bowl game?
I don't know.
I don't think he is. I think he's moving on. I think.
Is he? I mean, that would make sense.
I think
it
he's going to
sucks.
get ready for the NFL. I think he is.
Luther Burden, yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, he's opts out of the bowl game. So no Luther Burden, but they've still got some talent on that team regardless. So I think it is going to be a good matchup. Interested to see who plays for Missouri. But they are a pretty deep school, and they keep getting really better and better recruiting classes. So Missouri is going to continue to be good, I believe. But yeah, this will be a good bowl match as well.
So there you go. The 3 matchups for, once again, name off your 3 bowl games you like the most again there.
Yeah, Georgia Tech versus Vandy. I think I like the most. Miami, Iowa State, Pop-Tart Bowl, Camping World, and then Missouri versus Iowa, the 3 that caught my eye the most.
There you go. Our great listener, Jared, chiming in with his favorite bowl games. He did mention the Alamo Bowl as being a big one. He, which of course features his favorite team, Colorado. Colorado, BYU, and the Alamo Bowl. It should be a good game. And honestly, Jared, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've seen opt-outs for Colorado.
I think Deion said they're playing.
Okay, I mean that's a bit. I mean, if the big 2 of Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to play in the bowl game, that's a huge drawing point. And BYU had a great bounce back season after a really bad year in the first year in the Big 12. They've had a great bounce back year. I know people are like, well, geez, they're in the same conference. Why are they playing that bowl game? Well, when the conferences get this big and you have this many bowls, you got to find a way to fill it. And BYU is going to be an independent for a little while, at least in the eyes of the bowl. But they haven't played. This will be the first time they played in 36 years.
That's true.
36 years they haven't played, despite being not that far away geographically. So Colorado BYU, to me, I would agree, is going to be one of those interesting games in the Alamo Bowl.
And it also sets up a good story for when they play next year too. So,
yeah.
But I the only reason I didn't put this on was because I think Colorado wins by a lot.
I don't know. BYU, I think, will find a way to make it competitive. I think that's an interesting game. One game that I do agree. Also, Jared chimed in on this one. I would agree with him on this one as well. We're on the same page, Jared. The Holiday Bowl, the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, Syracuse at Washington State. This is an interesting game because look at 2 teams. Syracuse, first and foremost, is underneath a first-year head coach in Fran Brown, who has done a great job. They brought in Kyle McCord, the transfer from Ohio State. He brought in some other great players, and they've had a phenomenal season to this point in time, has Syracuse. A really good season, going 9-3. Then you have Washington State, who started off the year by, mind you, 8-1 before falling off the turnip truck the last 3 weeks. They lost to New Mexico by 3, Oregon State by 3, and Wyoming by 1. So by a combined 7 points, they lost their last 3 games of the regular season. But this is a Washington State team that's got some really good players and some led by their quarterback, Mateer, who I don't believe is in the transfer portal. But he had 29 passing touchdowns and 15 rushing touchdowns, did Mateer. And so I like this matchup between Washington State and Syracuse in the Holiday Bowl. I think it's a very intriguing game between those two clubs. So that's a big game for me in the bowl season. Another one that caught my eye is going to be, that's, by the way, the Holiday Bowl is played on Friday, December 27th. That is a 7 o'clock Central, 6 Mountain Time kickoff on Fox there from Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego. That's the home of the Aztecs. Another bowl game a little bit earlier in the docket, which will be coming up here a week from today on the 20th. It is Tulane at Florida in the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. I love bowl names that are super long.
Gasparilla Bowl.
Look, Tulane is 9-4. The problem is, I think Mensa, the quarterback, is going to be. I think he's in the portal, and so I don't think he's going to play. And Darian Mensa, who K-State fans know, threw for over 2,700 yards, had 22 touchdowns and 6 picks this year. I think he's in the portal, so I don't think he's going to play. So they'll be playing with a backup quarterback. Tulane lost their last 2 games to Memphis and Army, but the reason I think I'm most intrigued by this game is Florida's perspective. Remember, folks, just a few weeks ago, Billy Napier, head coach for Florida, was extremely on the hot seat. I mean, people were like, this guy has got to be gone at the end of this year. They're so bad, and they have not looked any better. Their athletic director, I think it's Scott Strickland still, came out and said, we are going to bring back Coach Napier next year. We believe in the direction he's going. From that point forward, they went on and they lost to Texas, but then they rattled off 3 straight wins against LSU, Ole Miss, and rival Florida State. So they're 7-5.
Yeah, look, you got to be thrilled with where if you're a Florida Gators fan, where they're headed with DJ Lagway and just the direction of Billy Napier has turned this program around to in the last month and a half or 2 months, you could say. But just yeah, it's good stuff. The college football is better when Florida's good. I think it's a fair statement. Just when that stadium is bumping and they've got good games playing every week, it's a good spot for college football to be in. So I'm excited for the future of the Florida Gators, and that was the bowl game that just missed my list, but that is definitely one that I'm excited for as well.
And then one more for me. I think this game is intriguing because I believe both teams will be invested in it. 2 teams that had, I think, pretty darn good seasons in comparison to what I think maybe people thought they would have. But how about the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl between South Carolina and Illinois? 2 top 25 teams. Illinois has had a phenomenal season. Brent Bielema found a way to squeeze everything he could out of this Fighting Illini team to get 9 wins. And South Carolina's Shane Beamer kind of did the same. I think he squeezed about everything he could out of that Gamecock squad. And so you've got 2 9-3 teams squaring off on New Year's Eve day at 2 Central, 1 Mountain Time. And so you got Illinois, South Carolina. I like this game. I think both teams will be invested. Both teams want to be there. I don't think there's been a ton of guys from either in the portal. And so I think you're going to see a really good football game between South Carolina and Illinois. And so there you go. Another big bowl matchup there.
Yep.
But I think once again, the biggest thing and here's the other thing. This is probably the one, before we get to break, the one thing that I've, you have to realize I'm getting reinduced into the bowl season a little bit more. Now, I've always watched the Bulls, but I now have, of course, my team to follow. I am, by the way, intrigued in the Pinstripe Bowl between Nebraska and Boston College, but I know most people probably are not, and that's perfectly fine. But there's one thing that I have kind of come to realize, and I think you have to realize the last time Nebraska was in a bowl, it was 2017. Think about how much has changed in college football since 2017. Transfer portal, NIL, all these massive things have happened since the last time Nebraska went to a bowl game. And it's fascinating to me. I think, and this is the way I think a lot of fans of their respective teams will have to start looking at bowl games now, not the playoff games, but the bowl games. These games are snapshots of what to expect for next season. Because if guys don't want to be there, they could already hop in the portal and be gone. So guys that were starters on your team for this previous year can now be gone. Or guys that are going to stay in are going to be the guys that are going to be around for next year. So it is a preview of what to expect for, in this case, the 2025 season. So that's what I'm intrigued about to see. Now, are you going to have some guys play that are seniors and graduate and not be back? Absolutely. But like I said, you're going to get a little peek into the future of what to expect for next season by watching these bowl games in the case of some of these teams. And I think that's the big thing you have to look at it. Where it used to be, hey, how can we cap this year and have a great finish to the season? And that's still there. But now it's also about, what is it going to look like next year? Well, we get a little bit of preview here in December.
In 2017, just for reference, Matt Rule was a first-year head coach of Baylor.
I know.
Who finished 1-11. Another fun fact, their D coordinator, who we just mentioned, Fran Brown.
Yep, Fran. Was he defensive coordinator?
Yeah, assistant head coach defensive backs.
Defensive backs. I was going to say, I think Phil Snow was defensive coordinator.
Phil Snow was DC. But so
yes,
that was
Fran Brown is underneath the Matt Rule coaching tree. That is true.
1-11 Baylor Bears in 2017. Last time Nebraska made it. Now Matt Rule.
And it was 2 years later they were playing in the Big 12 title game.
Yeah,
with like an 11-win squad.
That's true.
Once again, I'm not predicting Nebraska's going to do that next year, but like I said, it's fascinating. But to me, that's the biggest thing when I think about this. Like, hey, you get a snapshot of what to expect, what you could see next year for your team. Same thing can be said for Kansas State. Kansas, we didn't talk about Kansas State plays in the Rate Bowl against Rutgers. You get a chance to see what the Wildcats could possibly look like next season. All right, let's get to our final break. We'll come back and wrap things up with the weekend slate. That's next here on the Morning Blitz on a Friday.
This holiday season, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Eco snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint, or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Goodland and Colby.
The year-end clearance is on at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Save big on remaining hail vehicles like a 2024 GMC 2500 with some hail repaired. You can still take an additional $8,000 off. Or drive away in a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 and save up to $8,500 off, including rebates on lightly hailed units. Plus, enjoy 0% financing for up to 36 months on select new GMC and Chevrolet vehicles. These deals won't last long. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com and wrap up the year with incredible savings.
Merry Christmas from the Farmers State Bank in Oakley. We invite you to stop into our lobby for coffee and cookies throughout the month of December as our small way of saying thank you to our loyal customers. We appreciate your business in 2024 and throughout our 117 years of community banking and look forward to serving you in the new year. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
From the latest scores to the hottest takes,
60% of the time, it works every time.
we're bringing the game to you. You're tuned in to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
All right, final segment here on the Morning Blitz. Just looking at the weekend slate ahead. On the non-local sports side of things, Kansas basketball in desperate need of a win, looking to end a 2-game losing streak. They host NC State at Allen Fieldhouse on Saturday. That is a 2 o'clock Central Time, 1 Mountain Time tip-off on Flyover Country 97.9. I wonder what the line is on this game here. I'm going to look at this. Let's see. What is the line here for this contest? Don't have it out yet, unfortunately. Too early.
Key word in that matchup, host.
Yeah, at home.
Key word is host.
Being at home. Yep.
And you cannot win on the road, but they don't lose at home. So I would expect another win. Close.
Yeah.
I think it'll be close, but
I would expect them to win and cover. They're mad. They're going to take care of some business. They've just got 2 more tune-up games before Big 12 play begins at home against West Virginia on the 31st. That is what will be happening there. Some other college basketball on tap for tonight. You've got Nebraska ball, baby, hosting Indiana. Tonight, Nebraska needs to get itself put back together after they got dismantled on the road by Michigan State last Saturday. So big game tonight for Nebraska to try and keep pace in the Big Ten to get a win. Got to find a way to protect home floor and maybe steal one on the road. That's the key in most conferences. And then Colorado also on the home floor tonight. They host South Dakota State for some college basketball. Kansas State does not play until next week, so they have the weekend off. In the NFL, little news yesterday. Denver Broncos secured Garrett Bowles a 4-year extension up to $82 million, $40 million guaranteed. Of course, Bowles, first-round pick in 2017, been a cornerstone of the offensive line. He had a really rough start to his career, but he's really found his footing there for Denver. He now ranks 7th among NFL tackles and pass block win rate this season. He's also the longest tenured player on the Denver Broncos roster. But they lock him up, making him pretty much a lifer with Denver. And Denver, by the way, hosts the Colts. That game is set for 2:25 Mountain Time. You can listen to it here on Rocket 102.5. And then you've got Kansas City at Cleveland. 100 point through the ride. That's at noon Central Time. Any fear of falling to Cleveland on the road?
No. No. Last time we went to Cleveland was 2018. That was one of the best offensive performances in Chiefs history as far as just numbers, efficiency, everything. Kareem Hunt had a huge game. I don't know. That was in 2018, a completely different team, regardless. But now I'm not. It'll be close. It's the same thing. I mean, it just gets boring at this point, Ross. Like I don't know what am I supposed to say? We're gonna win by a field goal, folks. We're not gonna score 85 points. We're gonna win by a field goal.
I want to make it good TV. It's just what I do. It's just what I do.
It's just what he does. and it's not going to change
Yep.
anytime.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Also on the weekend slate this week, really quickly, if you want to watch some more basketball, if you haven't had enough from the Topside tournament,
If you haven't had enough, go ahead.
Saturday, December 14th, the Final Four of the in-season Cup. This is when it gets good. This is real. It's really good basketball. It really is. Even if you don't like the NBA like regular season, this is like playoff basketball. So you got Atlanta versus Milwaukee at 4:30 on TNT, and then Houston versus Oklahoma City at 8:30. Houston versus OKC is fascinating. Those are two really young, gritty teams, and that's to go to the championship game. Both those teams, championship game Tuesday, December 17th at 8:30 on ABC.
Also, thank you to listener Larry for talking about this. But yes, also tonight, Nebraska women's volleyball trying to advance even more into the postseason. Tonight, they take on Texas A&M.
There you go.
The Trev Alberts Bowl. He's the former Husker player. Sorry, they take on let's see here. I got to make sure I get this right. They take on Dayton. I beg your pardon. Dayton tonight. Number 23 Dayton against Nebraska. But Nebraska women's volleyball with a big match tonight as well. Inside the Bob Devaney Sports Center. All right, on to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run. A game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season. In walk-off fashion. That baby's go.
Yeah, so it'll be Wisconsin followed by Texas A&M, Wisconsin, Texas A&M followed by Nebraska, Dayton, with a couple matches tonight in women's college volleyball, which is highly entertaining volleyball to watch if you want to watch that. Also, speaking of highly entertaining, at least for those who love the game of football, is Saturday around noon with the Army-Navy game.
Or love their country.
Is there, I'd say that, I don't know about you, Max, but this is the one thing where if somebody said, Ross, I want to give you a free trip to go watch the Army-Navy game, I'd be like, I am in. I want to go to this so bad.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch. It's so fun. It's so patriotic. It's everything you want in a football game. I think college football is the most American sport in sports, and I think this just puts it all under. But it's perfect. It's just perfect, and they're good this year. Both of them are good.
I know. This should be a dandy of a football game. Army's favored by 6.5. But this ought to be. And I love this. I love triple option football, so I love. Well, I know some people hate it. They think it's ugly football. I think it's beautiful when two teams know how to run it great, and so. And these games are always close, doesn't matter what the team's records are. This is a great rivalry with great respect for both sides when it's all said and done. And I love watching Army-Navy. And so if you haven't tuned in to watch, you need to. The whole spectacle, pregame, everything. It is a great sight. It's up there with the Super Bowl, in my opinion, on how cool it is. All right, that'll do it for our program today. Once again, don't forget to catch Colby basketball and 100 Points to the Ride, Goodland basketball right here on Rocket 102.5 as we wrap up the Topside tip-off today and into Saturday. And we'll recap it all on Monday. For Max, I'm Ross. We'll see you then. It's been the Blitz.
Rocket 102.5 KKCI Goodland.